5-0 record on the road in a non-conference game against the Wheaton. Buddy Dave Stapleton along with Ryan Perrott on the cameras. First time for him, and well, maybe this is the first time for you watching the Bulldogs. If it is, you've missed quite a lot. The Bulldogs winning their first 5 games of the season thus far. They won all 3 games of the Ken Petty Windmill City Classic. Then easy victories in the conference over Glenbard South and Minooka. That Minooka game just took place. The Bulldogs won that one easily by the score of 73-38. And now what looks like to be a tough non-conference game against Wheaton Warrenville South. But exactly how tough will it be? Wheaton Warrenville South, obviously a great football team. They've won the Class 6A title 2 years in a row. Gave the Bulldogs a couple of wonderful games last year, but they graduated a lot of seniors, and they've had some injury problems. And they find themselves with a 1-4 record in the DuPage Valley Conference. Right now, 1-4 overall coming into this ball game against the undefeated Batavia Bulldogs. As we look at the starting lineups, Jim Roberts, of course, the head coach of the Bulldogs. Batavia 5-0, wearing the red, crimson, we should say, with the gold on the shorts. And Jay Kramer is going to start things off at the guard position. Number 3, he is 6'4" tall and a senior. His backcourt mate, Brandon Schwab, his 4th year starting on varsity. Quite remarkable. Number 12, 5'11". Nick Marsh gets to start at the 4 position. Number 5. It's his 2nd year on the varsity team. Steve Schaefer showing quite a sweet shot early on in this season. He's at number 50, also a senior. And the 5th senior on this starting lineup, Ben Zagorski, number 40, 6'7" tall, the tallest player on the team. Bulked up as well from the last year. He now weighs 215 pounds, giving the Bulldogs a solid inside punch. Now we get to see the starting lineup for Wheaton Warrenville South, the home team here at Orange and Black Gym. Tim Brilka gets to start at guard, number 13, 165 pounds. He's a senior, stands at 5'9". That's Eric Channing, the junior, at 6'3" tall. Justin Diener, 170-pound senior at 6'3". At 33, Darius Waters, a senior, 6'1" tall. And the tallest person in the starting 5 for Wheaton Warrenville South is Ben Bowman. He is 6'4", but a rather thin 175 pounds. Bowman is a senior as we now take a break and rise and sing along to the national anthem. Very sparse crowd here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. It looks like we may have more Batavia fans than fans for the home team. We'll see exactly how the reaction is as we get started into the ball game. Coach Jim Roberts talking to his troops, get them out set on the floor. As here we're about to get set underway. Of course, the congratulatory handshakes early on. Wheaton Warrenville South 1-4 on the year. Of course, they're in that very tough DuPage Valley Conference with such teams as Naperville North and Central, along with Wheaton North, West Chicago, and Glenbard North among the other teams in that conference. This certainly isn't going to be easy for them. Batavia 5-0, although they have not really been challenged thus far. It seems like they've made mincemeat of every opponent they've had so far in this season, as the tip-off is controlled by the Tigers. That's Eric Channing with the ball, passes it out to Waters. Waters looking inside, maybe tipped away by Schaefer or possibly off the glass, goes out of bounds, but much to the chagrin of the many Batavia fans here, Wheaton Warrenville will keep it. Just underway here, scoreless at, suddenly we have a change of possession. It looks like it is going to go to Batavia after all. Batavia now with their first chance, wearing the crimson and gold colored uniforms as Brandon Schwab brings it up. Schwab passes over to Schaefer, quickly inside to Zagorski, puts a shoulder on his man and pops it in. Ben Zagorski gets the scoring started, and Batavia's defense working hard there. Brandon Schwab gambles and loses. That's the first foul of the ball game. Brandon, number 1 on him. Obviously a non-shooting foul. Wheaton Warrenville South to bring it in under their own basket with the many cheerleaders also in the way. Wheaton Warrenville, the home team, wearing whites with orange and black trim. Finally get it in. Batavia showing somewhat of a full court press, then turn it up. Now Wheaton Warrenville South. Bowman has the ball. Then passes over to Diener. Now over to Brilka. Staying away. Drawing out Ben Zagorski. Might want to go inside. Here's their inside move. Loses it on the ground. Wheaton Warrenville South had it for a moment. It looked like Waters is the last man to touch the ball, but they got a foul underneath. Once again on the Bulldogs. Nick Marsh picks up his first personal foul. Bulldogs with all 5 seniors out there. As for the Wheaton Warrenville South, they start 4 seniors and a junior. That underclassman being Channing, number 25. Going inside is Channing. Puts it in from about 6 feet away. 6'3", he needed all of that height on that one, did Channing. First points of the ball game for their team, and we're knotted up at 2. 1 minute in. Inside pass from Kramer over to Zagorski. Gets it back and puts it in. Ben Zagorski has all 4 points for the Bulldogs thus far. This first attempt was tipped away, but he got his own rebound. There's a steal by Marsh. Wants to put it in from 5 feet, and he does. All of Batavia's 6 points coming from the inside thus far. They're up 6-2. Wheaton Warrenville South quickly down on the other end. Good inside pass, but it was grabbed away. Brandon Schwab, he gets it back. No look over to Jake Kramer, partially blocked by Bowman, and Wheaton Warrenville now coming down with it. Looks like Kramer was going to have an easy hoop. Didn't go strong enough, however. Now quickly is Broca. He cuts through defense, tipped away. Actually, it does go out of bounds. Looks like Broca lost it. It was Nick Marsh on the defense. Bulldogs up 6-2. All their points so far scored inside. Schwab bringing it up, then out to Kramer. He goes inside. That pass was a little awry. Back over to Schwab. Once again, trying to go inside, but out of bounds. Looks like Batavia is going to try to ride the hot hand here so far. No outside shooting thus far. We know the Bulldogs like to shoot it from anywhere on the floor, actually. Brandon Schwab with the ball, covered by Brilka. Tries to work off the pick. It's not there. Fakes the shot, then over to Kramer. Kramer driving left from 15 feet away. It's in. The only shot the Bulldogs have missed thus far was that tipped layup when Kramer went up, and it was tipped away by Bowman. They're shooting very well so far in this ball game, up 8-2. Wheaton Warrenville South having a tough time even getting a shot off thus far. Nice spin around move from 15 feet. That one goes in for Bowman. Tigers cut it to 4 on a good spin move by Bowman. Quickly on the other end, Marsh is in. Pass from half court, and Nick Marsh got it under the basket and went in with his right hand, which is the wrong hand for Marsh, but it worked well for him there. Quickly on the other end, Wheaton Warrenville South, a foul underneath the basket. The tip will not count. Marsh with 4 points in the ball game. Ben Zagorski also has 4. 5:16 left here in the opening period here at Orange and Black Gym. The visiting Bulldogs winning 10-4 thus far. Shooting foul on the Bulldogs. Ben Zagorski picks up the foul. That's his first personal, as the first shot goes in for Wheaton Warrenville South. Now the second of 2. That one drops as well. Eric Channing hits both of his. He's got 4, and the Tigers are down by 4. You can see the Wild Bunch in the yellow t-shirts on the other end as Brandon Schwab hits one. Shot from Brandon about 16 feet away, going towards the basket. Nice to see that, his first 2 points of the ball game. Nice spinning move, but that wasn't fall. Little shake and bake, abracadabra move there by Brilka, but the defense was ready for the challenge. However, Zagorski does pick up the foul. That's his second personal. This is something that Bulldog fans will be watching all season. Ben Zagorski having a tough time picking up those early fouls and having to sit down, as looks like the Bulldogs are going to make a substitution when all this is said and done. Brilka's first free throw is on the way. It's in. Here comes into Brooker, and Zagorski checks out, so the Bulldogs going a little bit small. Either Schaefer or Marsh will switch to the center position. Brilka's second free throw is in. 12-8, the Bulldogs have a lead, but not nearly as commanding as Wheaton Warrenville South, showing more signs of life here so far. Schwab to Kramer, over to Marsh. That one won't fall. Rebound still on the floor. A couple of players diving out of bounds to get it. Goes back to Batavia. Well, you got to watch out here. You really can't dive, per se, for the balls because the seats, the benches, are actually made of some hard material wood, and you could probably wreck a knee if you actually went out of bounds on it. Kramer shaking and baking from 17. No. Wheaton Warrenville South finally corrals the rebound. Bulldogs up by 4. Tigers trying to cut it to 2, or possibly 1 with a long one. Possible walk. No. Called in. Swatted away by Steve Schaefer. He saw that shot attempt by Justin Diener and got it. All you could tell DeBrooker wanted that one. No, an air ball. Nick Marsh diving for it, but Brilka had control. Was going to let it fall out of bounds. Well, how about that? Looks like Batavia's going to keep possession. Must have been last touched by a Tiger. DeBrooker, who just shot that three-pointer, just came into the ball game. Inbounds it to Kramer on the right side. Kramer driving baseline. And they got the offensive charge, as looks like there was decent enough positioning there by Channing. And Kramer picks up his first. 4:13 left here in the first quarter of play at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. Thanks for joining us here on Batavia Access Television, Channel 43. Along with Ryan Perrott on cameras, Dave Stapleton joining you here, where the Bulldogs trying to make it 6-0 if they can defeat Wheaton Warrenville South. Right now they have a 4-point lead midway through the first quarter, and their defense is looking good. Causing the steal is Kramer. Back to Schaefer. Over to Kramer. Up with the right hand. No, but the tip goes in by Schwab. Brandon Schwab hustling there, going toward crashing the boards, even though he's the smallest player out there, and he tips in the ball. He's got 4 points now in the ball game. Bulldogs up by 6. There's possibly a long three attempt. No, decides against it. Brilka wants to pass it off. Then wide open is Diener. Goes in from 10 feet away, and they're going to call the foul on Batavia. Bulldogs didn't have good enough possession on defense, as a foul is on Schwab. That's number 2 on him as the Tigers make a substitution. Matt Yonke checks into the ball game. He is a junior, stands at 6 foot 1 inches tall. Brilka will have a seat. Brilka 2 points in the ball game, both coming from the charity stripe. That's where Wheaton Warrenville South is now scoring, as Diener hits the first of 2. Bulldogs now up 14-10 after Diener, the senior, hits both of his free throws. Wheaton Warrenville South certainly done their practice from the charity stripe. They've scored 6 of 6 free throws so far in the ball game. Once again, another tip attempt, but that won't fall. This time Schwab's shot wouldn't fall. Kramer couldn't tip it in, and Wheaton Warrenville South finally gets it. Tigers bringing the ball up. It's Channing at 6'3", bringing it up. Then over to Diener, trying to go inside to Yonke. Tipped around, Batavia saves it. Then over to the Tigers. They keep it. Fakes the 3. Goes inside, does Channing. Pump fake, no. Rebound, Tigers. That one partially swatted, but it went in anyway. Diener gets 2 points for that one, although I think it last went off the hands of Schaefer for Batavia. Spin move by Schwab. Then over to Marsh. He spins, goes up with the left hand. They're not going to call. Nope, shot doesn't count. Foul is on Marsh. I'm sure you can hear that. Lots of Batavia fans here do not like the call on Nick. That's his second personal. Bulldogs were up by as many as 6 or 8 points in this ball game. Now their lead is a very slim 2. Very shaky, 14-12, Batavia with the lead. A chance to tie for the Tigers. They're bringing it up. There's Yonke. Long half-court pass over to Sternad. That's Sternad actually with the ball. Then over to, I believe, Waters, but he misses the shot. That was Darius Waters who attempted that shot. Brandon Schwab looking at the bucket, then passes it off to DeBrooker. Back over to Ryan Cochin now into the ball game. Couldn't handle the ball. Behind the back move. Oh, good passing there by Wheaton Warrenville South. Justin Diener behind the back, and then the pass behind the back to Channing, who puts it in. Channing's got 6 points, tying up the ball game at 14. There's a three-point attempt by Schaefer. No, hits too much iron. And the Tigers with the rebound. That's Diener bringing it up, covered by Schaefer, then over to Channing. Tigers' first chance of the ball game to take the lead. They certainly come on strong here the last couple of minutes. We stand less than 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Going inside, the pass going into Yonke off his hand. Oh, it looks like it last went off a Bulldog. Tigers going to keep it. Obviously, the players don't like it. Neither do the fans. Well, it doesn't sound like it, but this is not the home court of Batavia. It's just more Batavia fans here. Bulldogs tied up. Now they're down by 2. It's a good inside pass. There goes to Diener. He puts it in. Diener has 6 points along with Channing. They have the bulk of the scoring thus far for the Tigers, who are up 16-14 here in the first period of play. Brandon Schwab driving right baseline, tipped away, but we have a foul. And there's one of those Bronx cheers we could have expected as Brandon Schwab will go to the line. Foul was inside, hasn't been officially called as of yet. Brandon Schwab going to shoot a couple now. Gives Batavia a chance to tie up this ball game. First one rattles in. Right now, Brandon with 5 points to leave all Bulldogs scorers. Marsh along with Zagorski each have 4, and Kramer with the other bucket for the Bulldogs. Substitution, Bryce Barnes stands at 6'5", the tallest player on the team for the Tigers, although he is 195 pounds, not a lot of size in their centers. Brandon's second attempt, up and in. Haven't seen a missed free throw yet from either team. Both teams combining 8 for 8. The defense doing its job as well. Tigers having a tough time bringing it up. There's Yonke covered, finally gets it off. Does go, there's an inside 10-foot shot over his defender, tries to go Barnes, but no. Rebound, Tigers. They're doing a good job on the offensive glass, and it pays off. Bryce Barnes hits it for his first 2 points in the ball game, make that. Coming up, about a minute left here in the first quarter of play. Bulldogs down by 2, 18-16. DeBrooker hold on to the ball, shakes and bakes his defender, then over to Pete Mueller, number 22, into the ball game for Batavia. Trying to go inside to Schaefer. He's fighting for it, wants to put it up off the glass. It's in. Yeah, we hadn't heard Steve Schaefer's name from offensive scoring as of yet, and he certainly had to work very hard to get that one. Ties up the ball game at 18. Quickly on the other end, Wheaton Warrenville South wanted to pass it off, and they draw the charge. Schaefer on the defensive end. Well-deserved play there. Baz gets congratulations from his teammates. Substitutions now for both teams. Eric Channing back into the ball game as Broca sits down, and Jay Kramer also now in as Brandon Schwab gets a blow. Here's Kramer bringing up the ball. Second point guard in a sense for the Bulldogs. Kramer at 6'4". 25 seconds left and counting. He's posting up Yonke, then goes inside from 8 feet away. Goes in, a couple of bounces. Kramer with 4 points onto the ball game. Once again, tough time, and there's the traveling call. Batavia's full court defense, when it's on, can be very, very effective, as DeBrooker and Cochin were down there and caused the walk. Bulldogs up by 2, 20-18, with 14 seconds left here in the first quarter of play. Mueller brings the ball in. Other side of the court to Kramer. Now he brings it up. Kramer covered by Yonke. Trying to shake his defender, then passes it off to Schaefer. Wanted to shoot it, then back over to Kramer. There's the block. Kramer draws the foul. It's going to go against Channing, his first personal. In fact, Tigers not at all in foul trouble. I think they only have 2 personal fouls so far in the ball game. Make that 3. Bringing the ball in. Schaefer couldn't handle the Kramer pass. Goes out of bounds, but the Bulldogs keep it. Looks like it last went off the hands of Channing. And he's there trying to cover this inbounds pass from Kramer. Jay taking his time, couldn't find anybody. Then over to Brooker. He shoots it up. It's not going to count anyway, and it was partially blocked. So at the end of one quarter here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School, Bulldogs up 20-18. We'll take a short time out as you see the Batavia Bulldog cheerleaders. You're watching Batavia Access Television, Channel 43.
Chemistry class led me to a life of crime. I catch murderers, rapists, and thieves with a microscope. Help your daughter become a scientist. Instead of a tea set, get her a chemistry set. Look at the boring job I got from being a science nerd. Expect the best from a girl. That's what you'll get.
Do you know how to escape from your home if there's a fire? You gotta have a plan. They didn't have a plan, but these people do.
Okay, in case of a fire, you and your sister are to go out this door.
Or we can always go out that way. We have 2 exits, okay? And remember, practice makes perfect. So tell your parents, we gotta have a plan.
Be cool about fire safety.
Be cool.
Bulldogs up 20-18 in a very closely contested first quarter, surprisingly so here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. Wouldn't expect the Tigers to be happy to only be down by 2, but they've really been hurt compared from this year to last year. They lost Scott Sonnenberg, their fine point guard, also Michael Collins, who did a great job inside for them. They lost a shot blocker in Devon Finn along with some other players. Bulldogs have only gotten stronger. They only lost 1 starter, that being Dan Carlson from last year's team, and yet still we see a very close ball game. Looks like these two teams just love to play each other and love the rivalry. Batavia couldn't handle it. Tigers get the ball back on defense and then put it in. Off the glass goes Diener. Diener now leading all scorers with 8 points, tying up the ball game at 20. Pete Mueller bringing the ball up, then goes over to Kramer, shaking and baking, goes in, drives the foul as well. Jay Kramer excited about that one. Went in off the right hand, off the glass, and the basket counts. The foul, I believe, is on Waters as well. Kramer now with 6 points into the ball game as the Bulldogs 5-0 on this season so far. Fresh off a big 73-38 victory over Minooka. That shot won't fall, but hey, you get 2 points off the hands of Nick Marsh. Kramer couldn't hit his free throw, but the Tigers weren't capitalizing. Fell asleep there on the rebound, but Nick Marsh was ready. He puts it in. He's now got 6, and Batavia up by 4. 7:15 rather left here in the first half as Wheaton Warrenville goes outside and then drives inside. Good game so far for Channing. Him and Diener are really doing the bulk of the work here. They each have 8 points apiece as he hits it from about 5 feet away. Pete Mueller bringing the ball up. Now over to Nick Marsh. Faking the 3, can't shake his defender. That's Bowman. Then over to Kramer, wants it from 12 feet away, partially blocked. Rebound Tigers. A lot of Jay Kramer's shots have not been going in, been rather contested. He's a little bit cold from the floor so far. Eric Channing's shot from 3 won't fall. Hits the front of the iron, and DeBrooker comes up with it. DeBrooker out there along with Mueller, Kramer, Marsh, and Schaefer for Batavia. Mueller tries to get it once again off the hands possibly of Schaefer, but it was off the hands of Schaefer, last touched, and now it goes to the Tigers. Substitution, Steve Sternad comes into the ball game for Wheaton Warrenville South, posting a 1-4 record. Of course, they are in the DuPage Valley, so they've got some very tough competition that they play already and throughout the year. Is Coach Barry Brennan in the light blue shirt. He's the Tigers head coach, standing right next to the ball as Wheaton Warrenville South brings it in. Diener passes it, then over to Channing. Now they're across. That's Sternad with the ball, double teamed over to Brilka. Tim Brilka getting some time finally in the ball game. He sat out much of the first quarter of play. Tigers playing keep away. Moving around is Diener. He wants the shot and gets it. Goes right around his defender. Diener now leading all scorers with 10 points, and we're tied at 24. DeBrooker drives in. Nice move by him off the glass. First 2 points of the ball game for the senior DeBrooker. Stands at 6'1". Gives the Bulldogs a 2-point advantage, and there was the block. I believe they're going to call it on Mueller. An on-shooting foul. Nobody's in the bonus yet. It'll be a 1-1 situation for the Tigers. First personal foul on Pete Mueller. 1-1 situation now for Bowman. He has not attempted a free throw as of yet. The 6'4" senior has 2 points thus far into the ball game. As you can see, DBC standing for the DuPage Valley Conference as Bowman attempts his first free throw, first possible of 2. He can't hit the front end of the 1-1. Stuck on 2 points is Bowman, and Bulldogs holding their 2-point lead as Jay Kramer bringing the ball up on Channing. And goes inside to Schaefer, wants to go back out, drives right baseline, using his arm to get a little bit of momentum, or a little bit of spacing, and there is a foul called. It's like a non-shooting foul called on Steve Sternad. Schaefer wanted a shooting foul. Steve Schaefer showing some good moves inside, not just putting it up from 10 feet away. He certainly has a sweet shot, but acting as a sort of a center in there as Zagorski is not into the ball game. He picked up 2 personals in a hurry. Nick Marsh playing like a small forward. His pass goes a little bit awry, and Broca steals it. Didn't know what to do. Wanted to put it up, wanted to pass it off. Kramer was there on the defense, and the ball looks like it goes out of bounds. Maybe a little bit of bad blood here between the two teams. Some complaints going on. And Pete Mueller picks up his second personal. Well, Broca was really in no man's land there as Jay Kramer blocking off the shot and the pass. And Broca finally got it back, and looks like Mueller got a little bit of too much body there. Only 2 points in the ball game for the 5'9" senior Broca. Both coming from the free throw line. Now all 3 come from the charity stripe. Bulldogs up only by a point, however, 26-25 here. 5:18 left in the second quarter of play at Orange and Black Gym. That's what it's called, or is it Black and Orange? I'm not sure. I'll have to check it out. But the ball game is tied at 26 as Broca hits both ends of a 1-1. Kramer over to Schaefer. It's working well for them, but that shot won't fall. Rebound, maybe the Tigers. No, goes right back to Schaefer, who puts it in. Steve Schaefer with 4 points in the ball game. The Tigers tried to save it, but he was the Johnny on the spot there. Put it in from a couple of feet away. Boy, that down and up move isn't working for the Tigers. They try it once again, swat it out of bounds. Looks like the last one out of bounds, the Tigers, so Batavia has the ball. Bulldogs up by 2. DeBrooker passes it into Kramer. Brandon Schwab hasn't seen any playing time here in the second quarter of play. It's Kramer who's got the bulk of the point guard duties. DeBrooker over to Schaefer. He's seen a lot of touches. Wow, did he go right by his defender. Schaefer now has 6 points in the ball game. A good spin around move, and the Tigers didn't know what to do on defense. Bulldog defense knows what to do, almost causing a turnover, and no, it is not. Looks like they lost it, or maybe over and back, but looks like we're going to have a holding call. Broca last with the ball, and Batavia picks up the foul. Looks like it to be on DeBrooker. Bulldogs with a 4-point lead. The score stands at 30-26 as Waters comes back into the ball game, and Barnes takes the seat for the Tigers of Wheaton Warrenville South. Another substitution as Whit Kanak, Kevin that is, number 22, comes into the ball game, a 6-foot senior. Looks like Ben Bowman's going to take a seat. Well, Broca's used to this. He's at the foul line, but he finally misses one. 4 for 5 now from the 15-foot shot. Bulldogs a 4-point lead. Tigers trying to cut it into 3, and they do on that shot by Broca. That was the first, we'll make that the second missed free throw of the ball game when you count both teams in. Bulldogs 2 of 3 from the charity stripe. And the Tigers 9 of 10. That first shot won't fall, but Schaefer's does. Steve Schaefer on a roll offensively. He's got 6 points here in the quarter, and he's doing it on defense. Steals it, last touched by Waters. Batavia has the ball. Maybe you can hear the bricks at the Wild Bunch. Batavia's high school fans that all rallied together around each other. Kind of a second team for Batavia. The bricks that they're smacking together making quite a lot of noise. Jake Kramer's fadeaway shot won't fall. Schaefer with the rebound. Looks like he went out of bounds. Not so, but the pass goes awry. Brilka able to hold on to it. Then over to Diener. That's Justin Diener going around Marsh. Then around to Brooker. Over to Waters. He loses it out of bounds. 3:47 left here in the second quarter of play. Bulldogs up by 5. Bulldogs already committed 10 fouls, which means that the Tigers are in the super bonus. And it looks like a carry. Kramer couldn't hold on to it legally anyway. Tigers now going to have the ball. They are trailing 32-27 here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. Tigers in the DuPage Valley Conference. The Batavia Bulldogs in the Suburban Prairie Red Division. They won the Red Division last year, and a couple of fine matchups between these two ball clubs last year. On Batavia's court, the Tigers won by a couple of points last year, and then in the semifinals of the sectionals, the Bulldogs able to pull it out. They then went on to face West Aurora in the sectional finals, but the Blackhawks had just a little bit too much for Batavia at that time. Now the Bulldogs more experienced this year, 5-0 on the year. As the Tigers, they certainly lost a lot last year. They stand at 1-4 as their record thus far. Tigers hold on to it a long time on offense. Finally go inside, partially swatted. Then Schaefer has it over to Jay Kramer. Number 3, Kramer bringing the ball up, goes inside to Schaefer. Wants to shoot it. It goes in, and the foul. Basket counts. Schaefer with 10 points now into the ball game. Foul on Witkanak, number 22. That's the first foul for Witkanak, and timeout called by Barry Brennan. As Barry doesn't like what he sees so far. Bulldogs up by 7 as we take a timeout on the floor anyway here at Channel 43 BATV. Thanks for watching this telecast. We'll take a timeout here on Channel 43. Hope you're enjoying this program. If you're interested in helping us out with camera or with production, you have any ideas, comments, suggestions, anything, we'd like to hear from you. We love the Windmill City. We hope you do too, and want to help us out on our fine public access television station. Please give us a call. Our voicemail system, the number is 585-4343. Bulldogs up 34-27 with 2:46 left. Well, we're at Wheaton Warrenville South High School, but it kind of feels like Batavia High School because the Bulldog fans are outnumbering the Tiger fans so far. In number and also in volume. Batavia back on the floor. Schaefer to Brooker along with Kramer, Marsh, and Pete Mueller are out there in the crimson and gold. Barry Brennan's team, however, sending up their lineup. Let's see out there Channing along with Brilka and Diener, along with Sternad and Bowman. Ben Bowman back into the ball game. The 6'4 senior, the thin 6'4 senior for the Tigers. Steve Schaefer trying to complete his three-point play, a little bit long. Rebound still up in the air. Nick Marsh looks like he's got it. It's a jump ball between Marsh and Diener. And the possession arrow is going to send it back to Wheaton Warrenville South. 2:43 left here in the first half. Wheaton Warrenville South getting the ball in. Full court defense. Then they back off a little bit. The Tigers able to break. A nice pass inside. Marsh is there on the coverage. Wheaton Warrenville South keeps it. There's a long three-point attempt by Channing. Won't fall. Rebound Kramer. Passes it half down the court to Marsh. Marsh over to DeBrooker. Partially loses it, but he was fouled from behind by Diener. DeBrooker only 2 points in the ball game. He came off the bench, but seeing a lot of action here on the court. It's going to be a 1-1 situation as Diener picks up his personal foul, his first personal for the Tigers, and DeBrooker with only 2 points, both of those coming in the second quarter. Now trying to make it 3 and possibly 4 if he can hit the front end of this 1-1. That one just didn't want to go in, but once again, rebound by Marsh. Marsh has 8 points, 4 of those coming off of missed free throws. He's quickly there on the offensive boards. Bulldogs now with their biggest lead of the ball game, up 36-27 as we're approaching 2 minutes here in the second quarter. The Tigers, the home team in white. playing the two-man game but not getting close to the basket. Then they go inside. There's the shot by Bowman. Won't fall. Tied up with Schaefer on the rebound. Oh, and Bowman a little mad about that one. Almost picked up the technical. Not going to get it, however. Batavia fans wanted to see the tee. But Batavia is going to get the ball thanks to the possession arrow. Pete Mueller, number 22, bringing the ball up. A three-point attempt by DeBrooker. No, that one was short. Brilka with the rebound. Brilka at 5'9", the shortest player out there, but he cut in for the board. And there's a blocking call. It's going against the Bulldogs as Dan DeBrooker picks up another foul. That's his second personal. 2 shots will go to Brilka. He hasn't made a shot from the field yet, but he certainly made them from the free throw line. 5 of 6 so far from the charity stripe. He'll try to make points 6 and 7 here. The first one, no. Brilka did make his first 4, now has missed 2 of the last 3 from the line. Looks like the Tigers about to make a substitution. That one does fall, however, for the 5'9" senior. 1:42 left, and the lead closes to 8. 36-28, the Bulldogs with the advantage. Actually, from the games we've seen from Batavia thus far, they've always been close in the first half, and then they really pull away in the third quarter. So being up by 8 in the second period is actually pretty impressive. Shot by DeBrooker won't fall, but Schaefer's one goes in. Schaefer has 12 points, 10 of them in the second period. Bulldogs their biggest lead of the ball game. It's 10-point lead for Batavia, and it goes out of bounds. No foul on Batavia. The Bulldogs get it. I think some of the Tigers fans wanted to say that Jay Kramer pushed the player out of bounds. Not so, says the official. Kramer now brings it up as the point guard. Top of the key, passes it over to Mueller. Now driving is to Brooker. Back over to Mueller. Over to Kramer, won't take the 3. Sets up the offense, works off the pick by Marsh, then back over to Marsh. 10 feet away, the spinning move with the right hand, short. Rebound Tigers, here comes Sternad. Good pass move again, but it looks like he walked. No, they're going to call the foul on the floor. It looks like Batavia got a little bit too much body. Foul is on Mueller. Quickly, 3 fouls on Pete. Jim Roberts probably, well, looks like he's not going to make a substitution. Even though Mueller's got 3 fouls, he's going to leave him in for the rest of this half. Only 53 seconds left. Bulldogs up by 10, 38-28. And it stays that way as Yonke can't hit the first of 2 free throws. Yonke sets, fires from 15 feet, no. Rebound Waters had it, then Schaefer just took it away. Yonke misses both free throws. Schaefer comes out with the rebound. And here's Jay Kramer taking his time. About 40 seconds left here in the first half. Bulldogs up by 10. So directing the offense. Got to Brooker, then sends him over to baseline left. Now over to DeBrooker. He wants the 3, shoots it, no. Gets his own rebound possibly, no. Tigers go for it, goes into the Wild Bunch. And it looks like it was last touch by the Tigers. Bulldogs retain possession, goes into the Wild Bunch. I'm surprised they brought the basketball back. They might want to keep that one for a souvenir. Schaefer over to Kramer. He's in no hurry. 24 seconds. Looks like the Bulldogs will play for the last shot. Nobody moving, actually. Definitely a last shot attempt here. Kramer with the ball. Bulldogs hoping to make it a 12-point lead, or maybe 13 with a long one, before we close out the first half here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. Goes past the defender, does. Kramer, nice fadeaway. Going from about 10 feet away. Kramer hits it. He's got 8 points. Closing seconds. That's a long attempt. Oh, yes, no. Great attempt by Yonke. Hit the iron a couple of times, but wouldn't fall. Yonke remains scoreless for the first half as the Bulldogs own their biggest lead of the ball game as we're at the halftime mark. Bulldogs up 40-28 as we'll take a timeout here and tell you about the halftime stats as we take this short timeout here on BATV, Channel 43.
On remote at Wilson and Prairie Street at Batavia Rental Incorporated. And with us is Marshall Crane. Marshall, this time of year, is more commonly known as Mr. Luminaria.
You're so kind.
Actually, Marshall's in charge of Luminaria sales for Batavia Lions Club. And Marshall, can you give us a brief history, please, for the cable connection viewers out there?
Sure. The Lions Club picked up the project 16 years ago from the 14th Colony Homeowners Association, who elected to, stopped providing service with it, and they started it roughly 23 years ago here in town. It's an age-old custom that originated along the Rio Grande River in Mexico, a colony down there, and essentially what they did is they piled up stacks of little pinyon twigs and branches and lit them on Christmas Eve to light the pathway to their homes for the Christ child. It's been picked up here in many of the communities in the United States, and we here in Batavia took it over from a group in Clarendon Hills.
So it's a tradition that's moved from Mexico to surrounding communities throughout the United States.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, it's a very delightful event to see it happen. And what would you say the best street to drive down is on Christmas Eve?
I'd go into the Woodland Hills area of Batavia, far east side, down Woodland Hills Road, Meadow Rue are two of the bigger streets that put out the luminaria. We typically put them out Christmas Eve, anywhere from 5 to 6, and they should burn all night. Of course, weather permitting, and if it's an inclement weather, you'd want to do it Christmas Day, roughly the same time, 5 to 6 p.m.
Now, you're selling the luminary at 2 locations this year.
That's correct. We just added one here at the Batavia Rent Hall on Prairie and Wilson. The other location is the Shady Hill Nursery on West Walnut Street here in town. Yes. What you get in the kit are the 5 bags, 5 plumber's candles, an instruction sheet showing you how to assemble it, when to it, and obviously the sand to help stabilize it. When you're in the kit, you just open the bag, fold down the edge once or twice, about an inch and a half. It gives stability to the bag, and to keep them from blowing away, you take a cup, two cups of sand, pour it into the bottom, take your candle, place it inside, and light it for that night. That's it. It's that simple.
Marshall, that seems pretty simple way to light up your home and property with the luminary kits. Now, what's the price on the kits and what's included?
Okay, what you get with the kit are 5 candles, 5 bags, and some sand that helps stabilize the bag when you set it up in the evening. And the price for that is $3 for the package.
And is there free delivery included for this upcoming weekend?
There's free delivery for orders that are over 50 candles or $30.
And if there's any other information...
It's beaten the Tigers 40-28 thus far as we take a look at the scoring. For the Bulldogs, Steve Schaefer, number 50, with 12 points to lead all scores. Jake Kramer, along with Nick Marsh, also have 8 points, and Brandon Schwab with 6. Dana Brooker with 2, and Ben Zagorski with 4 points. And the name Zagorski should ring a bell. His older sister, Jenny, is busy at Northwestern with her freshman year playing volleyball. It's good to have you here with us, Jenny.
Thanks.
Are you having a good time coming back to see the old team, all the old players, and maybe the people you went to high school with? Is it always fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun coming back and seeing everyone.
Well, what about where you're at now at college at Northwestern? You like the university? We hear so many good things about it.
Yeah, I love it there.
How about the volleyball team? What kind of year did they have?
We had an okay year. We're rebuilding. I think next year's going to be a lot better. We're just working on it.
Did you lose a lot of seniors from this year? Is it going to be a stronger team next year, definitely? Or
We lost 3 seniors, and one of our star middles redshirted this year because she broke her hand. So I think we're going to come out stronger.
That's definitely good to hear. And volleyball, still you enjoyed as much as you did back in the days of Lori Trippi and the Batavia Bulldogs?
Of course. I'm having a lot of fun with it still.
It's really good to see you out here. Hope maybe you're cheering along with the rest of the Wild Bunch can lead the Bulldogs on the victory, all right?
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot, Jenny. Jenny Zagorski, a freshman at Northwestern. Her volleyball career is still on the rise at Northwestern. The rising volleyball program is... Well, we told you about Batavia scores. Let's check out Wheaton Warrenville South. They got 28 points in the ball game, 18 of them coming in by a couple of 6'3" players. Justin Diener with 10 points, and Eric Channing has 8. Tim Brilka, their short point guard, with 6 points, short but quick, I might add, and a basket from Ben Bowman and one as well from Bryce Barnes. That counts their 28 points, but the Bulldogs outscored Wheaton Warrenville South 20-10 in the second quarter of play as they're up 40-28. Bulldogs now back onto the courts. Jim Roberts along with Ed Cange, the assistant I see down there. They're getting ready to hit the court for the second half of play. By the way, you are watching Channel 43, Batavia Access Television. My name is Dave Stapleton. Ryan Parada is holding the camera. Want to thank you for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the sporting events. We try to bring you about one a week. Every now and then it's a little bit difficult, I hate to say. We can always use your help by calling the voicemail at 585-4343. You can let us know if you have any words of encouragement, anything you think would be a better idea, or if you actually want to volunteer your time. Suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. 585-4343 is the voicemail. As Wheaton Warrenville South playing some canned music. Unfortunately, not a lot of fans here to get themselves started. It looks like there might be more Batavia fans than Wheaton Warrenville South fans. Bulldogs have more to cheer for so far. They're up by a dozen as we start the second half of play. Justin Diener inside, dishes it back off to Brilka. Going inside is Waters. He goes right to Zagorski. They're going to try to pick up some fouls on him again, but that shot won't fall, and Jay Kramer brings up the ball. Zagorski, Schaefer back to Zagorski, spins, fires, it's good. 6 points for Ben so far. Bulldogs, their biggest lead of the ball game, gets bigger with every succeeding bucket, it seems like, as the Tigers can't do anything offensively. Although we only are about a half a minute here into the third quarter of play. Waters with the ball for the Tigers. Tries to go inside to Diener. Diener over to Brilka. Brilka covered by Kramer. Brandon Schwab still not in the ball game. He hasn't played for most of this ball game, actually. There's a three-point attempt. Actually, change that. Schwab is in the ball game. Thank you very much. Well, he has been quiet, but he is seeing his time. And once again, there's the shot that goes up. They got the offensive rebound, and it worked for him as Eric Channing puts it in. Oh, now Brandon Schwab makes Lee a liar. Okay, now he's got the ball. Covered by Brilka. Goes to the left side. There's Schaefer. Over to Kramer. Zagorski, once again, a spin move. Oh, he's golden from there. Ben Zagorski quickly doubling his scoring output here in the first minute and 20 seconds of the third quarter. 14-point lead for the Bulldogs here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. They are the Tigers, as you can tell by the giant paw in the middle of the court. But the Batavia defense is the one that's pawing all over everybody. They draw the jump ball thanks to Nick Marsh's quick hands. He was contesting the ball with Ben Bowman for the Tigers, and hard work pays off. Batavia now has it. Kramer to Schwab, goes inside to Zagorski, who lays it in. Boy, Zagorski's, Jenny Zagorski, the older of the two Zagorskis, gets a lot of playing time, a lot of attention here on 43. Then Ben wants all of it. It's hit the last 6 points for the Bulldogs. Batavia with the steal, but they can't convert. Here comes the Tigers on the other end. Pretty strong move going left and then right was Diener, but he couldn't hold it very well. However, Batavia picks up the foul. This will be 2 shots. It's a shooting foul. Bryce Barnes back into the ball game for Barry Brennan's team. A lot of B's in that statement. Nick Marsh. He's showing a lot of D on his defense. Also his offensive rebounding. Nick Marsh picks up his third personal, however, as the first of 2 free throws falls in for Diener. Diener hits the second one as well. He's got 12 points. Him and Steve Schaefer, Batavia, each have a dozen. And the Bulldogs maintain their 14-point advantage, 46-32 here with just under 6 minutes left in the third. Quick hands by Water. He goes all the way and dunks it in. Well, Darius Waters got some good jumping legs on him. Got way up in the air to dunk that one. Quickly on the other end is Schwab. He got the pass from Kramer, and he evened it out with a bucket of his own. Brandon with 8 points. Bulldogs up by 14. Here's the Tigers with the ball. Swatted away off Schwab's hands and over to Marsh. Oh, looks like Marsh gave an elbow on defense. Looks like he hit Waters with it, and Batavia fans don't like it. Oh, that's really going to hurt Nick Marsh. That's his 4th personal foul. He's going to have to take a seat. So Waters picked up the foul. Maybe a little ticky-tack. Probably not, however. Wheaton Warrenville South now with the ball. Real intense heated rivalry emotionally as well between Batavia and Wheaton Warrenville South. You wouldn't think that since they come from different conferences, but they are playing each other once, sometimes twice every year. And boy, the Tiger fans get a little bit of a lift there with that shot. That's a 3 by Broca. First 3 of the ball game so far. Then Kramer's shot is tipped away. Channing came up with the ball, but it's coming back the other way. It looks like Channing stepped out of bounds. Broca's 3 was the first successful 3 we've seen from behind the arc. We haven't seen many attempts from that far at all for both teams in this ball game. Boy, Eric Channing is giving Jake Kramer fits. He tipped the inbounds pass as well. Now Kramer trying to work hard on defense. Channing over to Waters. Look, Duke move over Marsh. He puts it in. Lots of life here now for the Tigers. They've closed the lead to within 9. 4:52 and counting left here in the third quarter of play. Darius Waters quiet offensively in the first half. Now he's got 4. One coming off a dunk, and that one which cuts the lead into single digits. Here's Nick Marsh on the offense. That one didn't want to fall. Nice move inside. Trying hard for the rebound, but the Tigers come up with it. Looks like Barnes had his hands on the ball, then passes it over to Channing. Now Channing, covered by Kramer. Over to Broca, back to Channing. Playing the 3-guard set. Nice pass inside. That one won't fall. Schaefer with the rebound over to Kramer. Kramer goes right past the defender, tipped away. Nice play by Channing. I think he got all ball on that one. It's a good play by him. Over to Waters. Is he going to dunk this one? No, he's going to miss it because Zagorski contested it. Nick Marsh now with the ball. It's going to be interesting to see Jay Kramer against Eric Channing for the rest of this ball game. And don't forget the hot hand of Steve Schaefer. 14 points now after he hits that one. Bulldogs break half a century now. They're up 50-39 with 3:45 and counting here in the third quarter of play at Wheaton, Warrenville South High School. Thanks for watching us here on Channel 43, Batavia Access Television with Ryan Perrott on cameras. Dave Stapleton here at your service. Hope you're enjoying this broadcast for you this weekend. Remember, we'll be bringing you more basketball games. Might get to see gymnastics, wrestling as well before the season is over. You also get to see long 3-point bombs like the one Channing just delivered. Tigers suddenly lighting it up from 3-point range. Schaefer inside of Zagorski. That one won't fall. Marsh with the rebound. He's working at it, but he falls down. Couldn't control it. Tigers now have it. Diener with the ball. Shakes past Kramer. And there's the foul underneath. Bulldogs pick up another foul. Oh, boy. Bulldogs maybe a little sloppy there on the defenses. But Steve Schaefer, well, he hasn't been sloppy on defense. That's his first personal foul. Nick Marsh going to take a seat as Dan DeBrooker checks in. DeBrooker, number 34, lining up for this free throw attempt as the Tigers now getting ready to shoot from the charity stripe. Believe that to be number 24, Justin Diener. He's 4 of 4 so far from the line. Make it 5 of 5. Got 13 points so far in the ball game, does the 6'3 senior. Second one up and in. All of Diener's 4 points have come from the free throw line thus far. The lead, which was 14 at one point, make that 16 suddenly down to 6. It's 50-44 as Brandon Schwab shakes and moves from 12 feet. That one won't fall. Schwab hasn't taken many shots this far in the ball game. That one's not going to fall for him. Diener gets it over inside, and that one falls for Bowman. And we're going to call a timeout. Jim Roberts isn't very happy with the play on either end. 50-46 now. Batavia holding a 4-point lead. Remember, they were up by as many as 14 points in this ball game. And they take a timeout here on Batavia Access Television, Channel 43. You can hear the crowd. I don't think they're liking any of this. Batavia up 50-46. Wheaton Warrenville South really turning it up here in the third quarter of play. They've outscored the Bulldogs 18-10 to cut the lead to 4. Fairly balanced scoring here in the third quarter for the Tigers. 5 players in scoring for them. For the Bulldogs, only 1 player scored more than a bucket. That's Ben Zagorski. He's got 6 in the quarter, 8 overall. Schaefer with 14 points, and Schwab now with 8 after hitting a bucket early on. As you can see there, Barry Brennan on the floor talking to his Tigers players as the officials waiting behind in the Wild Bunch, even behind that in the yellow t-shirts. Now the Tigers break up. Timeout is over. Barry Brennan takes the seat along with the rest of the bench players as the 5 players for the Tigers who have whittled this lead away down to 4 points. Going to try to shrink it even more. Brandon Schwab, the point guard for the Bulldogs, bringing the ball up. Wing right over to Kramer, then back over to Zagorski. That pass was tipped. Schwab following it up, puts it off the glass and in. Brandon Schwab, 10 points now in the ball game. Bulldogs enhance their lead to 6 points. It was 14 points early on in this ball game, so they're going to have to work a while to get it back up to that. Zagorski tries to draw the foul, no such luck. Inside shot by Sternad, won't fall. Sternad number 34. Now Schwab with the ball at the pass from Schaefer, pushing it up, finds Zagorski wide open. Boy, how did Ben Zagorski get so wide open? He scored 8 points here in the third quarter. They're going to have to make some adjustments. Will the Tigers on defense? He can't get that open. He'll make it every time, especially with his 6'7" advantage and his basketball skill. However, the Bulldogs let go on defense there underneath. Ben Bowman puts in a bucket. The lead 6 points, 54-38. We're under 2 minutes here in the third quarter of play. A long three attempt by Schwab. It goes in. That's the first three attempt for the ball game by Schwab. Looked like it would be way too long, but he drained it. Nothing but net on that tray by Brandon. He's come alive on offense. 13 points now into the ball game for Schwab. The Tigers are holding tight, however. Ben Bowman with another bucket. He's got 6 in the quarter. Bulldogs up 57-50. Another three by Brandon. No. Rebound. Looks like Schaefer possibly could have had it, but he got his arm around the head of Bowman. He's going to pick up the foul. That's going to be his second. Brandon Schwab made a three and then missed a three, and Steve Schaefer going for the rebound. Picks up the foul. That's his second. As Eric Channing will get a blow for the Tigers. I'm sure that pleases Jerry Kramer very much. Now a minute left here in the third quarter. Tigers down by 7. And it looks like they lost it on that one. Maybe. No, they call the foul on Kramer. Not sure what happened, actually. Diener was covered by Kramer. Didn't look like there was much of a foul, but Kramer picks it up anyway. That's his second personal. It's a non-shooting affair. Fouls have definitely been one-sided here, especially in the third quarter of play. Bulldogs have committed 5. Nary a single foul committed by Wheaton Warrenville South. Pump fakes a three to Zionki, then goes to the right. Over by Bowman, goes around Zagorski, maybe partially blocked, but it goes in. Nice shot by Bowman. He's got 10 points now into the ball game. Schwab bringing it up. Maybe looking three, then inside to Zagorski. A couple of bounces, then over to Ryan Cochin into the ball game. Partially blocked as a shot by Cochin, but it looks like he picked up the foul. So the foul will be on Bowman. That would be his first personal if that is indeed the case, and it is. Substitution. Channing back quickly into the ball game. And Matt Yonke takes a seat, the 6'1" junior for the Tigers. Jim Roberts shouting some instructions to the team out there as Ryan Cochin, who is scoreless so far in the ball game, getting a chance to score from the line. The first one in and out. Ryan Cochin missing the first free throw. He gets another one, however, another substitution for the Tigers. Batavia not made as many substitutions, but Ryan Cochin hasn't been in the ballgame very long, and he gets a chance to dent the scoring column. Can't do so, however, as he misses both free throws. Contests the rebound, however, but it goes off his hands. Bulldogs can't build the lead. It's stuck at 5 right now. They're up 57-52 with 34 seconds left here in the third quarter of play at Wheaton Warrenville South High School. The Tigers, members of the DuPage Valley Conference, couldn't handle the ball. Losing it out of bounds is Sternad. Batavia now with a chance. They might play it just for one. 25 seconds and counting. Schwab in no rush to bring the ball up. He's covered by Brilka. Gets over the midcourt stripe, then over to DeBrooker. DeBrooker now from 30 feet away, going inside, moving around, double team, then over to Kramer, finds Jay wide open, back over to Schwab. 5 seconds left, they're gonna have to make something happen. Schwab with a head fake, then tries to go inside to DeBrooker, then Kramer possibly had it. Neither one can get it, and the ball isn't controlled before the end of the quarter. Wheaton Warrenville South storms back in that one, but the Bulldogs hold their own near the end. They're up 57-52. We got 8 minutes left here in this ball game. Bulldogs with a 5-point lead here on BATV Channel 43.
We've got good news. Traffic fatalities are down from last year. One reason, more people are buckling up. If you haven't gotten the seatbelt habit yet, this is a good time to start. You'll be saving yourself the price of a ticket. You could use that money to buy a nice gift for someone special. And you'll be helping protect your own life or someone that's very special to you. And that's the best gift of all.
They want to get me. I'm going to be ready to get them.
They just shoot. They don't care who gets in the way.
I want to be respected. This gets me respect, know what I'm saying?
I'm afraid to walk to school, okay?
Yeah, I might die. Everybody dies.
Kids shooting, kids getting shot. They're all victims of gun violence. The killing won't stop unless you help stop it. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT for free information. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
I don't want to die.
We're at Wheaton Warrenville South High School, where the home team Tigers really came on strong in the third quarter of play. They outscored the Batavia Bulldogs 22-17. The lead was once 14. They whittled it away to 4. The Bulldogs held their own near the end. Brandon Schwab coming on offensively. He scored 7 points. Ben Zagorski scored 8 points in the third quarter of play. Steve Schaefer, the only Bulldog to score as we're underway here in the fourth quarter of play. Quickly, another foul. Yeah, for the first time in the second half, a foul is called on Wheaton Warrenville South. Tim Broca picks up his second personal. He hit a three-pointer to give him 9 for the ball game. That 3 coming to the third quarter of play. 8 points off the hands of Ben Bowman here in the third quarter. So far 10. That shot's contested by the Tigers. Come on strong on the other end. There's Diener. Looks like it was tipped away in a very late whistle. Looks like Dan DeBrooker's foot was on the line, but it took a while for the official to call it. Ben Zagorski, number 40, talking to the official, but you're not going to change that kind of call. Tigers will keep the ball. Just started the fourth quarter of play here. Wheaton Warrenville South down to Batavia. The Bulldogs up 57-52. Nick Marsh with 4 fouls, the only player in foul trouble for the Bulldogs. Pete Mueller has 3, and nobody for the Tigers has more than 2. Brandon Schwab, he gambled and won on that one. There's a tip, goes in off the left hand. He couldn't put it in. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by a Tiger, fortunately for Batavia. Tough for Schwab. He did a good job stealing the ball, but then 2 contested, couldn't put it in off the left hand. Batavia with the ball. Kramer over to DeBrooker. Goes left baseline around the defender, won't fall. Zagorski there contesting the rebound. He couldn't get it. Heard some skin scraping on the ground. That one's going to hurt, but the Tigers come up with it. They feel a little bit better because of it, and Eric Channing's shot was contested. There's a wild shot by Waters, but it falls. Darius Waters has 6 points now into the ball game. They've closed the gap to 3. 57-54. We've got a ball game here on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Schwab then loses the ball. There's the steal by the Tigers. Here comes on the other end. Looks like the foul is picked up. The shot will not count. But Eric Channing comes down with the ball over to Diener. And Jay Kramer picks up his 3rd personal foul. Nick Marsh gonna come back into the ballgame. He's got 4 personal fouls, so you really don't want to see him playing now, but you can tell the sense of urgency if Jim Roberts is putting him in right now. They'll probably go right to him. Nick Marsh going outside now to cover Sternad. Back inside, we got a foul here underneath. Looks like it was offensive. That looks like 25. Eric Channing picks up his 2nd personal. I'll make that on, I believe, on Broca. That would be his 3rd. In either case, the Tigers picked up the foul in Batavia now with a chance. They're only up by 3. Long pass. Schaefer able to corral. Then over to Zagorski. They're going to go inside. Zagorski can't hit it. Waters over the back picks up the foul. Well, Darius Waters is 6'1", 175 pounds, but he's not 6'7", 215 pounds, which is where Ben Zagorski is. Waters using a little bit of illegal means to get the rebound, going over the back of Ben Zagorski. Official saw it and called the foul on Waters. That's his 2nd. Batavia to inbound. Kramer over to Schwab. Head fake, doesn't fool anybody. Tries to go inside to Schaefer, but that pass was sloppy. Waters nearly loses it. No traveling call because he was up into the air, and then the ball is on the ground. There's a 3 attempt. This could kill Batavia. Oh. Eric Channing hits a three. He's got 14 points in the ball game. Didn't look like the Tigers were going to keep that one. They did, and they've tied up this game at 57 apiece. Holy cow, quite a ball game here. Batavia hasn't seen anything like this year so far anyway. Ben Zagorski puts it in, gives the Batavia the lead once again. We needed that. That's the first points of the fourth quarter, rather, for Zagorski. He's got 14, tied with Schaefer for the lead scorers on the team. Diener and Channing also have 14 for the Tigers. Pressure's getting to them as the Tigers. They keep it, however, but that pass goes out of bounds. That was a wild one. Looks like Bowman tried to get it over to Channing, couldn't handle the double team. Actually went to Coach Barry Brennan. I don't think he's allowed to shoot it from there. He's not wearing numbers on the back of his shirt. Brandon Schwab now bringing up the ball. Bulldogs up 59 to 57. 5.5 minutes left in the ball game from 17 feet. Won't fall for Schaefer. Rebound Tigers. Now Channing with the ball. Channing covered by Kramer. Looking for something inside. Nothing doing. Over to Brilka. And now back out. Looks like Bowman had the ball. Partially tipped away by Schwab. Waters wants it from 12 feet. He hits. Boy, Darius Waters now a force for the Tigers. He didn't have any points in the first half. Now he's got 8. Steve Schaefer with it at the arc. Over to Jake Kramer. Goes inside once again to Zagorski, and they get the push. Looks like the Bulldogs are going to look to go to Ben Zagorski every time on the offensive. But the Tigers, lots of fouls there. Ben Bowman picks up his second personal and a substitution now as Bowman will take a seat. Steve Sternad at 6'1" goes into the ball game. Not really any tall players out there, I believe, for the Tigers. I think their tallest player out there might be 6'3" and Diener. Everybody else is 6'1", and Zagorski's out there at 6'7". Bulldogs will continue to go to him. That's what Kramer did. Zagorski back out to Schwab. Schwab, the head fake that goes inside. There's Zagorski off the glass and in. Zagorski has 16 points. You know you're going to see the ball go to him a lot more. 4:43 left. Bulldogs up by 2. Near travel for the Tigers. They go to the 3. Rimming, no. Rebound Waters. That one blocked away, and they got the foul. No, looks like it's going the other way. Looks like he's sure who they're going to call the foul on. Yes, the foul is on Schaefer. Looks like everybody was going the other way. Schaefer did get called for the push as Waters, looks like he got partially tipped and Schaefer got a little bit too much body. But everybody else thought it was going the way of the Bulldogs. Schaefer with his third personal foul. 2 shots now. I think the official signaling 2 shots in the wrong direction. That might have been what screwed everybody up. Darius Waters might get 9 and 10 points if he can hit both of these. It would also give the Tigers a tie ball game. Bulldogs up now 61 to 60. Waters hits the first of 2. He's got 9 points so far. Tigers got 10 points in this quarter. Bulldogs only 4. Make that 11 to 4. The Tigers have outscored Batavia here in the 4th. Tie ball game at 61. Waters with 6 points in the 4th quarter of play. Schwab gets the ball and drains it from 16. Brandon Schwab with his first bucket here of the 4th quarter of play. The senior point guard has 15 points. Give the Bulldogs once again a 2-point lead. Tigers had to watch out for that over and back call. The rejuvenated Waters with the ball. Over to Brilka. Brilka back over to Channing. Then over to Waters. He wants to shoot it. No. Rebound contested by both players. Looks like Sternad had it. That shot wouldn't fall. Rebound goes the way of the Bulldogs. Look, there was a foul underneath. Give the foul to Diener. Yeah, that shot was even close to drawing iron for the Tigers, which is surprising because they've really been on with their shooting touch here in the second half. Close the gap to within 2. Schwab wants it from 3-point range. No. Rebound goes right to Kramer. He didn't have to move. Back over to Schwab. Dishes it to Schaefer. Schaefer now has 16 points in the ball game. Right there inside for Kramer. And Schaefer gives the Bulldogs a 4-point lead, which is probably their biggest lead of the ballgame in quite some time. Jake Kramer on defense tips it out of bounds. Substitution once again for the Tigers as Ben Bowman comes back into the ballgame. And Sternat takes the seat. Bowman scored 8 points in the third quarter. I think they're going to use his offense. He stands at 6'4", the tallest player on the team. Oh, this might be the dunk. Hey, Jake Kramer with it off the pass from Schaefer. Good, solid defense there from Batavia. Jake Kramer saw it coming, and the Bulldog players are trying to get the fans going. Oh, the Tigers don't like it. They call the timeout. Everybody's pumped. Jake Kramer getting congratulations with all of his teammates there. First to greet him is Dan DeBrooker. His big dunk gives the Bulldogs a 6-point lead. 67-61, Batavia with an advantage. We're at 3:13 left here in the third quarter of play. Thanks for watching us here on Channel 43, Batavia Access Television. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. Hope you're enjoying this broadcast between the Batavia Bulldogs and the Wheaton Warrenville South Tigers. Bulldogs hoping to make it 6-0 on the season. Try to bring as many Bulldog ball games as possible. Boys basketball, girls basketball, gymnastics, wrestling. You can catch them all here on your station for Batavia Athletics, BATV Channel 43. For more information, suggestions, or helping us out on a volunteer basis, and we're all volunteers, by the way, give us a call at 585-4343. That's our voicemail system, and talk to Dan. Once again, that number, our voicemail number, 585-4343, as we listen to the Village People here on BATV Channel 43. Well, the Village People faded out, didn't they? Well, the entire 70s disco phase faded out. Maybe the Tigers' run will fade out as well. Batavia looking strong on defense, now up 67-61. Nick Marsh back into the ballgame. He's got 4 personals. He's got to watch out, but he's playing tough D there on the outside. Waters with the ball, goes over to Bowman. Inside pass tipped away. Schaefer got a hand on it, then over to Schwab, and he loses it back over to Channing. Now Channing dishes it off to Brilka, goes around his defender, kicks it out. There's Waters, hits it. Darius Waters is on fire for the Tigers. He has 8 points here in the fourth quarter of play. The lead down to 4. Batavia up 67-63. We're at the 2:30 mark here in the third quarter of play. Schwab inside to Zagorski. He couldn't hit it. He was up in the air for that one. Marsh with the rebound. No! Rebound going outside long. No foul called, but the Tigers have it. 15 feet away. No, looks like Broken kept his pivot foot. No foul called. Rebound Tigers. That one won't go, and Schaefer has it. Couple of missed shots, missed opportunities. Schwab wants it a very long 2. That was a line drive of a shot, wouldn't fall. Batavia didn't look to be ready for that one. The Tigers now have it. Looks like the Bulldogs might have rushed that one. They might want to settle down on that one. We're within 2 minutes left here in the ball game. Bulldogs up only by 4. Batavia fans getting charged up. Tiger ones as well. Brilka didn't want to shoot it, but he did, and it doesn't fall. And Schaefer once again, another rebound for number 50. Schwab over to Marsh. He wants it off the glass. Going for the block shot attempt. One of the Tigers. Marsh knew better and hit it off the glass. That's his first bucket of the second half. Marsh now has 10 points. Bulldogs up by 6. A minute and a half and counting left in the ball game. There's a bad pass. Kramer has it. Goes around one defender, then decides to pull up. No, goes over to Ben Zagorski, who lays it in with the right hand. Oh, big comeback here for the Bulldogs. Up by 8 points. That's their biggest lead of the fourth quarter. Oh, another sloppy pass for the Tigers. Now Steve Schaefer has it. Oh, looks like the Bulldogs can finally salt this one away. A couple of steals and buckets for the Bulldogs, and Batavia looks like they're going to hold on to their undefeated season. Kramer over to Schwab, back to Marsh, who puts it in. Nick Marsh with a couple of quick baskets here. He's excited, and the fans are as well. Bulldogs up by 10, only 40 seconds left into this ball game, and Batavia now going to go to 6-0 on the season, just like that. Eric Channing, his shot is contested by Schaefer, but they call the foul on Steve. Schaefer picks up his 4th personal. He was hoping for the clean block. Officials don't see it that way. Jim Roberts talking it over with the players, the officials as well. Barry Brennan, the Tigers coach out there, and Steve Schaefer is going to take his seat in a well-deserved hand for Schaefer. He finishes the ball game with 16 points. That doesn't lead the Bulldogs. Actually, Zagorski has 18. Shooting 2 shots will be Channing. First shot up and in. Channing, he had that three-pointer earlier, then we hadn't heard from him. Now 4 points in the fourth quarter. 15 overall, make that 16 for the 6'3" junior. The only starting junior on this Tiger squad. They lost a lot of seniors from last year, and they certainly had quite an effort here, did the Tigers, but not enough at the very end as Batavia comes quickly down on the other end. Zagorski was fouled before he could put it in. He was right under the basket, but the Tigers got too much body on him. Bulldogs up by 8, 73-65 with 27 seconds left, and Zagorski with a couple of chances from the free throw line. He could break the 20 mark in the scoring column if he hits them both. You got the starting five out there for Batavia with the exception of Dan DeBrooker, number 34. As Steve Schaefer takes a seat, he had 16 points. The first one good for Zagorski, and the second one, no. He's got 19, he stays there. Rebound Tigers. Channing comes up with it. Pushing it up is Diener. Nearly loses the ball. Back over to Channing for a three. That one is short. Goes to the left side. Kramer had it and then was tipped away. The foul is going to be called on Sternad, I believe. That'd be the third personal on the 6'1" senior Sternad. Kramer will go to the line. Bonus situation, one-on-one opportunity for Jay. Kramer with 10 points in this ball game. Jay was the MVP of the Ken Petty Windmill City Classic Tournament. And now he gets a chance for 11 and 12. And he gets 11 with no problem. Actually rattled in a couple of times, but it still counts from 15 feet away. Bulldogs, their lead now 10, 75-65 with 15 seconds left. And once again, Batavia showing that they can score easily. 76 points now as Kramer hits the second end of the one-on-one as well. No problem scoring in any of their ball games here so far in the season. Defense gambling a lot on the steals as well. Nearly came up with that one, but not enough. Channing hits the three, and quickly they call a timeout. Not exactly sure why, however. They're down by 8 with only 5 seconds left in the ball game. Channing has 3 threes on the ball game, all in the second half. He's got 8 points in the fourth quarter of play. Give him 19 overall, the lead. Their team in scoring. But the Bulldogs just too much, up 76-68. As you can see, the Batavia players down there, also the Batavia cheerleaders dancing I believe to be YMCA by the village people. The 70s just won't go away. No one's unhappy here for Batavia. Bulldogs are going to put this one away, 76-68. Only 5 seconds left into the ball game. You think, by the way, the Bulldogs have dominated the last couple of minutes, that they dominated the fourth quarter? Not so. They've outscored the Tigers, but not by a heck of a lot. They've outscored them 19-18. They were up by as many as 14 points in the ball game. Finally, an 8-point lead. It's been as many as 10 here in the fourth quarter of play, but it hasn't been easy. Inbounds pass contested. Nick Marsh holds onto it and then just grabs down and waits to be fouled, and sure enough they do. Marsh will go to the line. One-on-one situation for the Bulldogs. Wheaton Warrenville South committing the foul. Bryce Barnes coming back into the ball game. Still most of the starters out there, only 3 seconds left. I guess it really wouldn't be worth it sending him in now, sending in the reserves. Nick Marsh's first shot from the left hand. That's his only shot because it doesn't fall, and that's the end of the ball game. We come to a close here at Wheaton Warrenville South High School, and the Batavia Bulldogs go to a perfect 6-0 on this season, defeating the Wheaton Warrenville South Tigers 76-68. We'll wrap it up in just a minute here on BATV Channel 43.
Giving has to be one of the very best feelings in the world, like receiving an unexpected kiss or smelling a freshly mown lawn. Support our United Way and it'll be a very good feeling, too. And you won't even have to cut the grass to get it.
Warrenville South High School, where the Batavia Bulldogs remain undefeated at 6-0 after defeating the Wheaton Warrenville South Tigers by the final score of 76-68. This was a very close ball game. If you saw, the Bulldogs had as much as a 14-point lead in the second quarter, and the Wheaton Warrenville South Tigers kind of whittled it away to about, actually to 3 or 4 points. Bulldogs finally got back into it and able, with the scoring of Ben Zagorski inside, able to pull this one away, still undefeated at 6-0. Let's go over the scorers. With 19 points, Ben Zagorski did lead the Bulldogs. Steve Schaefer with 16 points. So they got 35 points inside by their 2 biggest players. 15 points by Brandon Schwab. A couple of players with a dozen for Batavia in Jake Kramer and Nick Marsh. Now those are the 5 starters. For bench scoring, only 2 points coming off the hands of Dan DeBrooker. For Wheaton Warrenville South, 21 points scored by Eric Channing. He led all scorers in this ball game. Also 13 points from Justin Diener, 12 points from Darius Waters, all of them coming in the second half. 10 points by Ben Bowman and 8 by Tim Broka. They only had 2 points off the bench as well. Steve Sternad scored that bucket. So the Bulldogs winning this one 76-68. The Batavia sophomores weren't as lucky. They lost 62-48, but still hoping to have a fine season, and the Bulldogs are certainly having a good one right now, 6-0 on the season. Thanks for joining us here on Channel 43, Batavia Access Television. I'd like to thank Ryan Perrott on cameras. My name is Dave Stapleton. Make sure to watch another sporting event next week here on Channel 43. Have a good evening.